Mikel, what a win, through to the semi-finals, and you love a late goal, don't you?
I mean, who doesn't? Yeah, very, very happy for the win. Obviously, it's a massive step for us. Playing a semi-finals after 16 years is, you know, something very special. And yeah, in the personal level, I'm buzzing. Two games, 2 late goals for me. But yeah, the main thing is that the team is going to the semi-finals, and we are ready for the rest.
Do you think we've seen the best from Spain yet?
Hopefully not. I think this team has a very, very high ceiling, and our goal is always to improve. Today, I think we deserved a little more in terms of chances or goals because we created a lot. But yeah, we get the win, and hopefully next game we can see an even brighter Spain, and the main thing is to get the win. But yeah, let's see.
Talking of the next game, are you ready to take on France?
Yeah, absolutely. We came here for this, to play against the best teams in the world. We are confident in our possibilities, at the same time respecting the opposition. But yeah, one of those games that you dream of when you're a kid, and now we have the chance to compete against a massive rival. Hopefully we'll get the win.
Even if we're not always seeing it in terms of the attacking talent.
Yeah, you know what surprised me here is the mentality from Merino and the difference with Ngoy as a defender. You have to protect the keeper.
Yes.
I think you don't want but you have to do the extra, to have confidence. But also be a bit negative as well, to think that the keeper, we see the fly of the ball can make a mistake there, but just to protect, and that's the difference that, one team goes through and the other are out.
We always talk, I talk about it a lot on here, is the details, and when you're, as a young defender, when you get taught, it's always follow the ball in, because you never know what could happen. Even if you've got the best goalkeeper in the world behind you, you have to follow the ball in, because this can happen, and a mistake like that, you're out the tournament.
You mentioned the difference between his 2 subs. I think that was Lamine's first minutes at the tournament, wasn't it? So he needs to grow in confidence.
And only his 3rd cap altogether.
Moreno comes on full of confidence from the last game, and that is the difference. It just feels like he's on fire. I mean, 2 big goals. He must be delighted.
What 2 goals? I mean, he's coming from the academy from Osasuna, the same place as my hometown. I was coached by his father, so he had a great relationship with him and his father. So it's very nice to see a player like him, also with all the difficulties he had this season with his injury, that he was nearly out of the World Cup. So I'm very pleased, I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, he posted about his injury and said at one stage he was struggling even to get up and down stairs in terms of his recovery, that he had real problems with his mental health in terms of his recovery, and then comes back and has these incredible moments for Spain. Just tell us a little bit about what you think happens to him now over the rest of the tournament. He's clearly seen by Luis de la Fuente as a finisher rather than a starter, but maybe a bit earlier than 85 minutes, do you think?
Well, if he comes on and he scored the winner, I think everybody will be happy. But as I mentioned before, to have the mindset and to go after the game, to train hard, and then being left on the bench and then wait until he was the last sub to come on. So that's high credit for him, because that mentality is not easy to have, and you guys know as well.
It's knowing your role as well. I think Lukaku has got a similar role at Belgium, where he's been coming on a lot around about the 60-minute mark, and knowing what the importance you are to the team. I think that's the main thing. If you're left on the bench and you're not aware, you haven't had that conversation with the manager, you can be a bit down and a bit disruptive and whatever. But if you know that you're going to come on and the manager rates you highly, and potentially you come on to get your team to the next round of the World Cup, then I think that's a little bit different.
Well, just tactically, it's understanding the game. Moreno, one of his best attributes is running into space. The second half, the game always becomes stretched and open, and it just suits him perfectly.
Yeah, and I love the idea that he's sitting on the bench, completely unbothered at 1-1, going, just wait, 85 minutes, I'll come in and I'll fix it all.
We said, we were talking about it, weren't we? And we said there's the match winner when he was on the bench.
Yeah.
So you just felt Spain started getting balls through the lines, didn't he? And you just felt that he was going to have an impact.
All right, you want a pat on the back, do you?
To be fair, he is here for his analysis. So it's fair to highlight when it goes well. But do you know, it nearly did turn in the second half, because Belgium had so many chances and they really put Spain under the cosh.
Well, this is what I was talking about in terms of Belgium. I thought it was excellent. You see Kevin De Bruyne here getting the ball between the lines, sort of doing what Spain were doing to Belgium at times. And then You've got Doku in wide area. You've got the run from the Kuiper, that is really good. Pulls Rodri out, and that little 1-2 with Kevin De Bruyne and leave space for the Kuiper. And this is what they can do, and that's why I was surprised the way they were set up early in the competition. I didn't know what Belgium were, and then they had that really good result against Senegal, giving them that confidence. Raskin, who was played at midfield, sort of giving them the energy going forward. Lukaku, obviously, coming on, trying to make a difference. I think he could just lift that there to give Lukaku more of a chance. De Bruyne turning on it, getting that shot. But I was really impressed with Belgium at the time, and then here's the incident here.
It's not a penalty.
It feels reminiscent of what we saw in the Champions League final, isn't it? Where it's a player onto his teammate.
Correct. And that's why it can't be. But you see there, with that chance there, really good defending from Spain.
And that's a clearance, not a back pass, isn't it? Just while we're clearing up decisions.
Yeah, it's very clear. It's very clear. Was it clear?
Yeah.
Winning goal. We've talked a lot about Mikel Merino. We've talked a lot about his ambition to come on and his mindset to be able to come on that late. But it starts with the injury to Thibaut Courtois and having to replace him with Senna Lamine. You can see there how upset he is at having to come off. He knows that this might be his last opportunity to play in a World Cup for Belgium. And then Lamine's not really warmed up into the game.
Yeah, I think it's always difficult coming on any player, especially in a game of this magnitude. But when it's a goalkeeper, you're not fully warm. The running there behind, and you're just thinking, OK, what's going to happen here? Belgium in a good shape, forcing them to shoot from distance. But then he just can't get hold of it. You know, you want to see a winner from good combinations or a really good worldie. But to have that from a goalkeeper, to make a mistake, I just feel sorry for him. But look at the anticipation for Moreno. That's what he's brought on the pitch to do.
And having said that Lamine wasn't warmed up, Merino had only been on the pitch for 117 seconds when he scored that goal.
Yeah, listen, it's clearly a mistake, obviously, and as much as I'd like to try and defend it, it's a mistake. But we've heard Joe Hart talk about the flight of the ball, so maybe give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit. But Merino, I think he's one of them players who he just arrives at the right time, in the right moment in big games.
And this is how they celebrated in Madrid. Interestingly, because, well, at the start of this tournament, there were no Real Madrid players in the squad. Obviously, Cucurella is now signed for them, and he is a Real Madrid player. But it's a very Barca-heavy squad in there. And there is that sense of a relationship.
They've played through that press well at times, but when they get into the final third, I just think they're missing that killer pass at times. There's so many times where the game's opened up and expect them just to play the pass with pace. They've just not been doing it. Of course, they got the goal, but I just want a little bit more. When I said before, they've been very good, but not scintillating. That's exactly what I meant by this performance.
And the sort of implication of that was that there is another gear for Spain to go into. Now would be a really good time for them to find it.
Yeah, I think it's time for it. I think once they got ahead, we felt that Spain could score the second before half-time, but I think Belgium scored a very nice goal.
Yeah, but the Spain goal, first of all, let's take a look at that one, because although it was scored by Fabian Ruiz, it's not really where your eye was drawn, Wayne.
No, and there's a few questions about the defending as well, but I really like this from the relationship between Porro and Yamal. And Yamal's movement here is very, very good, very clever. And you see here, he goes running behind, then that little change of direction. It doesn't come to him, and again, his little change of direction here gets him that little yard of space, and a really good pass to Porro. Olmo in a really good position where you'd expect him. And Ruiz following him for the tap-in. But
I want to talk about it from a defensive point of view. Once you get into this shape, you're in a very good shape there, Belgium. You see the Kuiper, and you see Ruiz with Van Aken there, who scores a goal. But I don't understand why he needs to go now. Obviously, Doku is going to switch off. He's a winger. If he stays in line, then you can double up. He's already got Raskin coming over. And then look at the distance between Van Aken and Ruiz, who scored the goal. So although they've pressed well at times, it's just them little details where you know that the whole question was, can Doku defend? And he does do his defensive work, but it's the little moments where you're up against clever players that you will get hurt.
So he's willing, but just not 100% able to do the defending.
Exactly that. It's about position, where you position yourself. So if you're in the the defensive area where he is, he's just got to switch on a little bit more. When you're further up the field, you can afford to switch off because of where the ball is. But when you're in the defensive areas, you just got to open up your body a little bit more, have that communication with the keeper, and that goal can definitely be avoided.
It's ball watching as well, and I think a lot what we've seen there was ball watching, and against the top teams when they're clever and they play in between the lines and they move the ball quick. Within a split second, you've lost your man, that's it. You can see the goal. So you just need to make sure you open your body. You get taught as a kid, you're always looking over your shoulder. You have to do that against the top teams, otherwise you get punished.
The problem is, when Belgium have been pressing, they think the job's done. Once you get into them areas, you've still got to concentrate exactly like you're saying. And as a defender there, you'd be saying, in front of you, a bit of communication there.
Yeah, what I've seen is that Spain, they were 2 against 3 on the side. Lamine, Yamal with Porro. And then they went 4 against 3 in the box. They were 3 man free on the box, which I think at this level, yeah, they defended the zone, but there were 3 coming in the box for free.
It's crazy from Belgium, I think. I think very quickly you could see Spain run away with this game. And listen, that mightn't happen, but I think if they keep defending the way they do, they might, get a bit of luck and go and get the next goal. But I think within a split, amount of time, split seconds, this game could be go away from them.
Yeah, those seconds and those moments for Belgium might well let Spain in yet. And as you said, Spain might take the game away from Belgium. But as it stands, Belgium are very much in it because they got their equaliser from De Ketelaere.
Yeah, we sort of highlighted him before the game, and I talked about that movement. And sometimes the movement in there, you don't have to go first post and then second post. It's just about making sure you're onside and then timing your run to perfection, because the back line have to move up and back where the ball is going, and he's just got to anticipate and time his run perfectly. And there's people saying it's offside in here. Ask me, but it was. It wasn't.
It wasn't. But he stays in the goal.
Yes.
He doesn't move from the goal. I've seen few seconds. He stays so.
This is what I was talking about in the first game with Ronaldo. And listen, Ronaldo was miles offside at times where he weren't getting back on top. But that is so clever when you're starting an offside position. You're behind the defender. He doesn't know where you are, and then if you get your time right to get back in front of him, it's impossible for the defenders.
You know how hard it is, though, and you'll know as a defender, when you've constantly got to look at the ball and then look at the line as well. So as you're going up and then seeing, is he going to cross it, when to drop off, when to push back up. So the line actually wasn't that bad, but the movement from De Ketelaere was just spot on, wasn't it?
As soon as the ball went wide, then he was onside because Cucurella was there, and then you are in the wrong position.
But as a forward, obviously, you two being defenders, as a forward, we look for that, we wait for that moment. We look, because I know if I'm just behind you and the ball's out wide, you have to look at me and you have to keep looking and scanning. But then if I get my time right, the minute you take your eyes off me, that's my cue to go across you, and that's exactly what he's done. It's a great movement and a great header.
It was the tightest of offside decisions, though, so the timing had to be absolutely spot on. And we were talking about the Belgian press, and Micah, you were saying that they're getting it's almost right for them, but just maybe needs a bit of tweaking, a bit of polishing.
I think it's a bit of both. I think they've been very brave in the way they want to set up. So you see Belgium here with you see Rodri, but I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because Spain could play through the press, but at the same time, Belgium are trying to be brave. You see the amount of space left in the middle of the pitch, and that's why, Wayne, you was talking about potentially, if the game materials like this, they might find it difficult. But these are the little details we're talking about. If Yamal just pops that round the corner in that space and they get the 1-2, on another opportunity, they could have been punished for that, couldn't they, Wayne?
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I think against the top team, we done it against Barcelona in 2009, got popped all over the place. This is absolutely crazy. You leave this much space for players with this much ability and this much quality. You see what happens here with one pass to get the touch, to get out wide, and now they're running, into a dangerous territory, into their found head. There's 1v1. If they keep doing this, I think Belgium are going to find it so difficult to get near Spain. And listen, they've got, I think, a bit of luck. I think Spain have been a dominant team, but I think they could run away from them if they keep doing this.
Yeah, here in Spain, we want to play with the keeper. We want to have one extra man. So I think as a Spanish team, we want to play with that extra player, like with Simono, with the ball. So when Belgium is pressing, I think we were not so clever finding the free man. But I think once Spain I think they could find a big space in behind.
I think what you'll find in the second half, I think Yamal and
Pedro Porro.
will start, the wide men will start coming inside.
Yeah.
I think they'll start coming inside and leaving the two centre-backs 2v2, and then the space in the channels will be out wide.
Oh, you mean Baina
And Yamal will start coming inside a little bit more, and then you've got the full-backs, the forwards will run into the channels. I think Belgium will find it very difficult in the second half.
Yeah, despite the fact that Doku has caused problems in places there as well.
He has, and for me, this is Doku's strength. Obviously, he gets back and helps out defensively, but this is why he's in the team, because he carries the ball, he commits players, he commits defenders, midfielders, and here he gets a little bit of luck, but he allows Belgium to get up the pitch. So now you see, just by holding on to the ball, Belgium can get players forward, they can get them into Spain's half the pitch. And again, here he's in a good position defensively. Porro's ran through, now Porro and Yamal are out of position, you see him, he's sprinting forward, he's driving forward. So from Belgium defending their own penalty box, now they're in a really promising position and attacking area, so that's the reason he's in this team.
That's why I thought Belgium would sort of go in that low block, so when they win the ball back, that they can have these runs. Like I said, they've been very, very brave. Maybe they wanted to be a little bit higher up, so when they get in these areas, because he's up against Rodri when Ruiz goes forward as well, almost trying to get back in. But I've been impressed with their setup, and Doku, that's obviously why he's starting.